So welcome back to the weekly podcast of the Journal of Lifestyle Medicine. I'm Sven Hosford, and our magazine, podcast, and website is a collaboration of journalists and integrated medicine professionals, all with the goal of public and community education on topics of importance, like your health. We have a print issue that's available in waiting rooms, in yoga studios, and health food stores around Western Pennsylvania. You can also check out the downloadable PDF on our website, journaloflifestylemedicine.com. And we'll have a new issue, the summer issue of our print edition, will be coming out by June 1st. Today is May 13th. Summer has broken out seriously. It is flip-flop weather, and everybody's itching to get out and eat dandelions. I said eat dandelions because today we have as our guest Ola from Ola's Herbs, and I know I'm going to butcher her name, but we'll give it a shot here. And before we get to her, we're also joined by an Emmy award-winning journalist, Terry Taylor, who has got many decades of experience reporting on environmental issues and health issues. So we'll have a great round of questions for our guest, Ola Obasi from Ola's Herb Shop. You can find us here every Tuesday at 4 o'clock live, and you can also find our recorded casts on Facebook, Google+, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, and Spreaker. Did I miss any, Mike? That was all of them. Okay, great. And if you have any questions for upcoming guests, then you can always email me at svenhosford@gmail.com. Next week we have Dr. Thomas Levy, so if you want to Google him and get your questions together and email me those. First, I want to take a look at our calendar page from the Journal of Lifestyle Medicine. There's a lot going on this weekend. I mean, a lot going on this weekend. First of all, Thursday night, you have the Freedom of Choice in Cancer Therapy, and that guest is Dr. I missed it. Dr. Boyd, Dr. Thomas Boyd. What the heck is his name? Boyd Haley. Boyd Haley is going to be the guest. And one of the movers and shakers, apparently quite an impressive resume. You can check that out on our calendar page. This weekend, we've got the grand opening of the Four Directions, and that is a new arts and healing place in Gibsonia, a new name for an old place. It's where Dr. Louis Malmadrona used to do his sweat lodges, and it's run by Peter Scheffler and a great group of volunteers, and a full weekend of healing and music and dance and artwork. Check that out on our calendar page. Also this weekend is the Farm and Garden Food Fest at the McGinnis Sisters in the North Hills up in Adams Township, 11 to 4 each day, and I'll be there for most of that time, and another great group of guests happening there. One more thing that's kind of fun this weekend, and that's at the Schwartz Market. It's ear acupuncture. Ear acupuncture. It's $20, and you sit down for 20 minutes and have somebody put more holes in your head, I guess, is how that works. But that's a really nice way to be introduced to acupuncture and see what kind of amazing effects you get for relaxation, stress reduction, PTSD, and substance detox with a little bit of ear acupuncture at the Schwartz Market. Also, don't forget June 20th, the spiritual head of the Himalayan Institute will be here in Pittsburgh. Pandit Rajmani Tigonat. He is a fascinating speaker, June 20th. And also don't forget the fall conference of Massage CE at Seven Springs Resort. That's in November, being hosted by the Pittsburgh School of Massage Therapy. Get all of your credits for 2 years, all in one weekend. Okay, so let's get back to our guests. Let's get to our guests. Ola Obasi from Ola's Herb Shops. How you doing today, Ola?
I'm well, thank you.
And I guess the first thing we have...
How are you doing, Sven?
I am doing great. The first thing we have to tackle is, how do you pronounce your full first name?
Okay, my full first name is Ola Takumbo.
Ola Takumbo. Okay,
yes.
Ola Takumbo. That's beautiful. Ola Takumbo Obasi.
That's right.
And give us a little short biography of your heritage and where you're from and how you wound up here in Pittsburgh.
Well, my background is my father is Nigerian, so my names are from the Nigerian side of myself. My mother is Kenyan. I grew up in Kenya, grew up in East Africa, Kenya, Tanzania. I also actually my family lived in South Africa, Botswana, South Africa, and Lesotho. So that's a little bit of my background. I'm Pan-African.
And where did you get your herbal training?
I got my official academic herbal training in Maryland. I went to a school that used to be called Thai Sophia Institute. It's now called Maryland University of Integrative Health.
Oh, okay.
But prior to that, I have always been in the lineage of herbal healing. My family on my mother's side, which is where I spend most of my time, are herbalists and healers.
Okay, so you do have it in your family background as well.
Yes.
Okay. So let's bring Terry Taylor in. Let's not bring Terry Taylor in.
No, I'm here.
Are you here? Oh, okay.
Sure.
All right. I see. You didn't want to catch you doing something embarrassing there, Terry. Terry is a friend of mine and a great heart and a great spirit, and has done wonderful reporting in the area of integrated health in the past. How are you doing today, Terry?
Oh, I'm well. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to speak with Ola.
Okay, great.
And I wanted to just launch right off with a question. Ola, you said in your bio, and I was wondering if you could explain it more fully for me and for everybody else. What do you mean that you're walking on a double-edged sword? What does that mean in terms of your training and your approach to healing?
Good question. Well, I got that sentence, that phrase from an elder traditional man from Canada. I was at an elders gathering, and I believe he has some roots in the Iroquois nation. And we were discussing how he had gone to boarding school when he was younger. Went to French boarding school in French Canada, and I went to a British boarding school in Kenya from the age of 7 till the age of 16. And we talked about how we both didn't really we weren't fully immersed in our cultures because we were busy at the boarding school learning European culture and academia, which has its place, but our traditions have their place too, especially being indigenous people. So my education, even though I have a high graduate degree in medical herbalism, I have to honor the fact that I was also educated by my people, who I can't show that, with a certificate, but my elders in my village had also educated me about healing and herbal medicine. So walking the double-edged sword means that I'm walking one edge on the Western and the modern lifestyle and modern society, and I'm also walking on the path of my tradition and my indigenous roots. So that's what I mean.
Ola, that's really perfect, because that's what Sven and everybody here at the Journal are trying to do, is to look at what we can get from the conventional side of medicine and what we can get from the holistic side of medicine, and where it can be helpful, and to honor our roots and our traditions, and also the newest in technology and all of that. What's the best that we can pick and not get stuck on one side of the sword or another. So I think that's great.
Yes.
If I could just ask you one thing. You said that it all started when you were 9.
Yes.
What happened then? What happened when you were 9?
Oh, well, I remember I used to, when you're living in post-colonial Africa, or any country, I think, but at least I know in East Africa, Kenya, There are people who live in the village in mud huts still in what we call the villages. Here would be called the country, I guess. And I lived in the city with my mother, and my grandmother would take a bus from our village, and she would come and pick me up. She would come and visit us, but she wouldn't stay long, a couple of days, and then pick me up, and we'll go together to the village. We'll take a bus back. And so I spent a lot of time with my grandmother and all the people in our community, in our village. And, I would roam around and play with insects and with other kids and just, doing my own adventurous, investigation. And one time I was standing somewhere watching a man who actually is my great uncle, because in our villages, we are a community. This is where we've come from. We've lived for many, many years. And all our family members live around us. Anyhow, I was watching a man really, concentrating and focusing. He must have had a cigarette in his mouth too, but he wasn't holding it. He was holding a machete and a branch in his hands, and he was chopping up this wood and getting all the leaves from this tree. And I just was watching him. I was fascinated. I was fascinated with the aroma of the tree. I was fascinated with just the work and his integration, just how he was working with it and focusing. And then I asked him what the tree was. For some reason, it fascinated me. And, I've come to know that it is the eucalyptus tree. So that is when I started to learn names of trees and know that these trees have a purpose, because he ended up telling me why he was chopping wood and getting these twigs and the leaves and what he was going to do with them. As you know, this is the equator, so there's lots of malaria and cold-like bugs and critters like that. So he was going to be using it for an individual who had malaria. That's my first acquaintance, or what that I can remember with with the herbs and the plants.
And it took off from there. Hey, Sven, I'm going to give it back to you. It's so interesting to hear about Ola's roots.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you, Terry.
I have plenty of questions, and they do involve roots. But thank you, Terry, because that's exactly the kind of hard-nosed questioning that you'll never get from me. Frankly, I was going to start with something like what I say herbs, you say herbs. What herbs should we be planting right now? It's the middle of May.
Yes.
Here in the semi-temperate zones of Pennsylvania and the Northeast and Midwest.
Yes, Northeast.
What's a good herbs to be putting in the ground right now?
Well, first thing I'll say is go for a herb walk, because the herbs are already on the ground without us even, it's an effortless effort. We haven't even planted any, and they're there. And I think those are the ones we must honor, because I believe in divine presence. And I believe that the functioning of the universe is by divine presence. And so if herbs are just popping out of the earth without us even planting them, then it's good to use them. Of course, the question is, where do you pick them from? And obviously being careful where you pick those herbs from. I'm blessed to have a big yard outside my house. It's chemical-free, very good earth, so I can pick things like dandelion. I can use the leaf. I think Terry had mentioned wanting to go eat the leaves of the dandelion immediately after this podcast. So those are very good as a diuretic, great minerals, a lot of calcium, iron, trace minerals, magnesium, excellent plant. And I'm talking about the leaf part. You can also use the flower. I like to infuse the flower in some olive oil and make an oil that you can use for muscle sprains or strains.
You do. You make a lot of your own medicines there, right? Or do we call them medicines?
Yes,
Herbal
yes, I
herbal
do.
concoctions.
Absolutely.
This is the time for full confession here. I did get one of your. I can't remember what it was. Some kind of a liquid that I
Yes,
took a
the
little.
immune tonic.
The immune tonic. That was it. Because I took a little teaspoon every day all through the worst part
Yeah.
of the winter, and I never got any kind of cold or flu or anything this season. So,
Oh,
yeah, I give you
really? That's wonderful.
I give you a little shout out about that.
Yes.
What other kind of things do you put together there?
Oh, well, like right now, I try to work seasonally. So,
Mhm.
like I was saying, I got the dandelion, and there's ground ivy out there. So, ground ivy is excellent, usually used for cancer tumors.
Hmm.
Just want to be careful, have it under the care of somebody who's knowledgeable, because it can cause some irritation in the liver.
Now,
But
how would you use that? What would you do with it?
the ground ivy.
Yeah.
Ground ivy is good, used as an infusion. I would gather it and dry it, and then crush it and use it as a tea. Maybe about a teaspoon or so in a tea ball, or in a boil some water up and put your teaspoon in there and let it infuse for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and drink it afterwards. But it's excellent. It's been used historically for cancer. It's used for what's called phlegmatic conditions, which are conditions where there's a lot of tumors, or whether benign or malignant growths, where the immune system is struggling to modulate, what is happening in the body and the physiology. So ground ivy is one of them that's actually out there right now. I have lots in my backyard. Another one is dead nettle. Dead nettle is very good for allergies. It's also out there in the backyard. Used very much for that change of season allergy, runny nose, runny eyes, lots of pollen in the air. Dead nettle is it, and it's also very good, nutritious plant. Not related to nettles at all.
Do you do
But
walks, kind of herbal walks, where you
yes,
teach the people what to look for and things?
yes, actually, I have a school. My school is called Well of Indigenous Wisdom School.
I love that name.
And
That's just a great name.
yes, and I take only 5 to 7 students at a time, twice a year. And I do herb walks with my students and teach them, about what's growing out there, of all the plants.
Yeah. Well, I do want to get to some of your other activities and the things that you do, but first I have a kind of a personal question. I live in the city, and so I plant my basil right on basically a fairly busy street corner. What extra precautions should I take? I mean, buses come by and everything. What extra precautions should I take, or is it safe to use that? I had a great pesto last year. I mean, I had a great basil crop. Is there extra things I should do or be careful or aware of growing herbs in the city?
Well, I would recommend that if you have a really nice window in the house indoors, to grow your herbs indoors versus outdoors, because of course there's air pollution. And our plants have learned to coexist with the evolution of the air and the atmosphere. But I think it would be better to minimize the amount that you ingest, amount of these pollutants that one ingests. So the best way to do that would be perhaps to bring them indoors.
Okay.
And use that one from indoors. Yes.
Well, I know there's a lot of herbs that you can grow year-round and grow indoors. Do you have like a list,
Yes.
a handy list of your favorite ones that you like to keep growing indoors?
Yeah, well, most of the culinary herbs are good indoors. Anywhere from cilantro to parsley, basil, rosemary. Rosemary doesn't do well at all in the winter, so
I
it
found
needs
that
to
out.
get out, and come back home. It's inside the home. It needs to be protected.
Yeah.
Your lavenders, Sage. Sage doesn't do well at all in the winter either.
Right. Yeah, my sage
So
is actually
most, I
coming
would
back.
say, the culinary herbs, which are the herbs that we need to be using most of the time. That's why they're in abundance, and that's why they're used in culinary arts.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about some of your other activities and some of your other services. I want to check back with Terry. Terry, did you have any more questions about the herbs or anything more specific you wanted to ask Ola?
Oh, so many. But I mean, Ola, I think what you're pointing to is that the herbs that we need seasonally are naturally growing in our environment, and that maybe even from environment to environment, the people in the South, for example, may get
Yes.
a different complement of plants than we'll get up here, but maybe they have different conditions or needs,
Definitely.
and that the plants are in keeping with us.
Yes.
And would you say that's true?
Absolutely. And I think that was so well said, Terry.
You guys should really get to know each other. I mean, you could walk from Terry's house to Ola's shop.
Say a little more. What does nature
Yes.
give us? Does nature give us everything that we need medicinally? Do you think?
Oh, Terry. Yes. Nature gives us everything we need. I mean, we are part of nature, right?
Yeah, right.
I think we've come very far from understanding that, and even accepting, some of us, of course, accepting that. But we are part of nature, and when we were keen observers and living sleeping outside, living with nature, with the animals, with the trees, with the waters, we were keen observers. And when we observed, we knew what we needed, and we knew what was right, what was not right. We had more of an instinct, a natural instinct. We've come very far from that. And I encourage, that's why my school is called Well of Indigenous Wisdom School, because I'm speaking of us as Indigenous people. We were the observers. We didn't have many distractions, and we weren't so far away from nature. And I encourage people to live close to nature, to close by nature's laws. Use the herbs that are there now. They're there now for a reason. Almost all the herbs that are growing at this moment are growing for people who tend to have allergies at this moment, people who tend to, haven't detoxed maybe. And when you don't detox sometimes, you accumulate a stagnant nature in your body. So the herbs that are there would be more diuretic. They would be more good for, constipation, moving your bowels, helping you perspire a little bit, helping with an elimination and excretion of body fluids, which just is part of the cycle of the earth. So spring is, an outwardness of expression of the earth. And of course, winter is more of an inward expression of the earth. So the plants that come out in spring are also, we are part of the earth. We are the earth. So they're going to help us also come outward, and detox. And then we go back into winter, and the herbs that are available around that time help us to conserve energy and preserve our energetic stores. So, that's what I have to say to that. I think you're absolutely on it. We must live close to nature.
No, this is great.
Hey, Ola. Sorry, Sven.
Good.
What are just a few simple things that people can do this time of year to clean up their act? Would it be, I don't know, squeezing lemon into water, or chewing up those dandelions if they come from a clean place? Or what are just a couple little things that we could do? Drink more water, from your perspective?
Okay. Well, as I mentioned, that winter is a time for building and reflection and just conserving energy, right? Because it's cold, we need to be warm. There's a safety and subconscious safety issue. Say that we were living in indigenous times, we wouldn't have grocery stores, obviously. So, we have to preserve and conserve what we have. And we do that naturally. So when we come out of the winter into the spring, it's important to eat less heavier foods. For instance, we don't have to have all the meat that we eat, and all the cakes and the Christmas time and Thanksgiving type of meals. So it would be a time to eat more vegetables, more of the salads with dandelion leaves in them, more fruits. I advise people to do this. I advise people to juice more, to take their salads, to get out in the fresh air and walk more. That's a very good way to detox. Breathing, just breathing, real deep yogic breathing, to excrete all the carbon dioxide that's within the body. Get some sunshine, to restore the vitamin D that we need for our immune system and for all sorts of systems in our body. And then, of course, herbally, to use again, the herbs that are available. Dandelion root, versus the leaf is also a very good plant to use at this time, because the root helps with liver movements and releasing a lot of bile to digest our fats in the body, to increase our irritation so that we're able to eliminate better. Okay, so that's a detoxification. Sometimes we get stopped up in the winter. So that's it's basically it. I hope that sounds simple enough. I can go on and on.
Yeah, it sounds good. Wonderful. I'd like to continue, but I'm going to give it back to Sven.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we talk a lot about herbs, and I don't want people to think that's the only tool in your tool bag there. I think you've got a whole bunch of interesting tools that I want to at least mention. The one thing I really want to find out more about, talk a little bit about your mother and child herbal camp coming up this summer.
So the mother and child camp was an idea that came up in the middle of this really, really cold winter. And I thought to myself, being a mother of 3, how it would be really good for us to build more community here in Pittsburgh, between us mothers and children, and just in the effort of having that village sense. And so, the camp is at my house. I have a big backyard. I'm asking mothers to bring their children ages 12 to 17. To bring the children and camp out. And we're going to learn how to cook naturally, maybe, make milks from scratch, nut milks from scratch, mostly a vegan menu, to knit and share in music and drum, dancing and yoga, and just, living out in nature and just combining our ideas amongst each other.
That's just wonderful. Now talk a little bit about your dance and the dance therapy and different things you do with dance. And
so that's another thing I do. I actually really do that for myself. Truth be told, I do it for myself because I work so hard during the week, so I have to just dance, and it's a good way to exercise. It's a good way to just rejuvenate.
That's wonderful.
I learned synergy dance from a woman named Charmaine Lee. She's a white South African lady, who's been through so much in the struggle for peace and unity in South Africa. And I really love this lady, and she trained me how to put together the synergy dance, more or less. Some of it is just my own creation too now, and she's okay with that. But it's based on the concepts of yoga and some Ayurvedic material and a lot of traditions around the world. I incorporate a lot of African traditions in the movement. And the movement is also based on polarity therapy. It's based on craniosacral therapy. And it's activating specific spots in the body that can be where energy sometimes is clogged up and needs to be moved. So through the dance, there's more of a current in the body. I imagine, as my students have said, that when we finish, we feel like we're able to fly.
Wow.
So light, but just so expansive, just so clean and feeling so high, if you want to say. It just gives such an energetic field, as if it's expanding the aura. And so it's intense, but you wouldn't even know it. And you don't have to be an expert dancer to do this. It's not about technique. It's just about movement, and it's about activating those points in the body so movement can happen and healing can happen.
And do you do regular classes with this?
Yes, the classes actually are starting this Sunday.
Oh,
They start
great.
Sunday right here at Ola's Herb Shop. We'll gather right here at Ola's Herb Shop. There's a studio upstairs, and
Sure.
the classes are from 4 to 6 on Sundays.
4 to 6 on Sundays.
Yes.
Is that every Sunday through the summer?
Yes,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Awesome. What's the class cost?
My students, we think it's going to be 20 per class.
Okay.
Yes, but people can just come up, and I'm always very lenient.
I see. You don't turn anybody away for lack of funds? Is that what you're
No,
trying to say?
no, I don't. At
Okay.
least I might have them wash my dishes.
Well, that's a very good idea, I think.
Or come to my house. They can sleep over, but they
Right.
have to paint something
To
at my
paint
house
something.
or fix
Okay.
something.
And you also have doula. So you also do doula birthing
Yes,
services.
I do birth doula work, which is just a couple of times a year.
Okay.
I used to work steadily as a doula when I used to live in the Washington D.C. area.
Okay.
But now, of course, with the business and everything else I'm doing, I've tapered that down, and I basically do about 2 or 3 a year.
And you also manage somehow in all of this busy life of yours, you've also managed to learn yoga, and you teach many different aspects of Ayurvedic healing as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I do.
How do you find time
Thank
to do
goodness.
all this? Yeah.
But you know what, Sven? It sounds like a lot, but they're all connected.
Well, that's true. That's
Yes. So it's not really spreading out. It's more like honing in, adding more layers to what I already know
So
and who I already am.
you've got European training from your British school that you went to, and all of your Pan-African history, and then
Yes.
to the University of Maryland, and
Yes, American.
the American, and tied in yoga somewhere. Do we miss a continent anywhere? I think we got all the continents covered.
Let me think.
There's nothing in Antarctica.
Well, I have Latin American connections too, so
Maybe Australia.
That's it. Well, Terry, we got about 5 minutes or so left, I think. Do you want to ask a few more questions before we finish up?
Yeah, sure. I don't want to bring the conversation down because it's so high right now. I'm really enjoying it. And
But you're
I
going to
think
anyway.
what I will start with is that first of all, I love the barter system.
Yeah.
yes.
I'm not sure what I can do at your place, but boy, the idea of coming to camp and dancing is really floats my boat.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
we are, as a people and on this planet, in really rough waters right now. And your approach seems to be to honor the positive and the loving in people and in the planet, the little things that grow into big things and ideas, and how this resonance, this frequency goes from, the deepest parts of the earth all the way up through the people, and how we have to continue to nurture that, especially in hard times. But I'm thinking about myself for a minute, I'll be honest. I mean, I am one of the, I don't even know how many, but the large proportion of people, at least in America and Europe right now, who are cancer patients, who somehow had a combination of stressors, environmental and who knows what else, maybe emotional, karmic, who knows? And here
Mhm.
we are. And so what I'd like you to reflect on is how we can stay strong through
Mhm.
all of this. And I think
Mhm.
some of the things that you're doing point to those
Mhm.
those
Mhm.
those ways. But how do you do it? Do you ever have fear about what's
Mhm.
happening? Do you think we'll make it, Ola?
Well, that's such a deep question, Terry.
Oh,
And
pick
there's a
any.
lot there that I want to comment on. Um, you know, I it's tragic that you have cancer, and I'm not. I empathize. I empathize with you, and I have a lot of compassion for anyone who has cancer. It must not be easy at all. My grandfather passed away of prostate cancer. So I understand the suffering around that. And a very close uncle of mine who had HIV as well as Kaposi sarcoma, very, very special man to me, also passed away from complications with the Kaposi sarcoma. So I understand there's a lot of suffering around this disease.
But what can we
And
do? What can we do, Ola?
yes, well, the thing is, we all know, all of us, every single person, every single thing is not going to be here forever. And with that in mind, I too think of myself, one day I'll be gone too. I don't know how, but I will be gone. And I know that in my daily walk, I treat every day as I've heard the Native American people say this. It's a good day to die. I like this term, especially when I'm very, very happy. That's when I say that it's a good day to die. And I take from this wisdom, even in the midst of problems and illness and all kinds of things that we can witness out there in the world, there has to be just a small, if we can just look very well, and we can capitalize, if you like, on the very small light that shines somewhere in our life or somewhere around us. And we can focus in on that, and we can just focus in on that and make that really big, so that even if we were to expire tomorrow, we enjoyed the light and we experienced the light, the joy, the love, the warmth, all that light gives us. Whether you call it, you think of the light figuratively, literally, metaphorically, however you look at it. But that's in a nutshell what I would say about that, and that's what I say about my life. I try to look at. I've been through many struggles myself, to the point where sometimes I felt like I don't want to be here. And how have I managed through that is to focus on light, to focus on the positive, and not be in denial that there's no negative things, out of balance things that exist, but to just continue to focus in on the joy and the love that I do have, that's available to me now, in the now.
Was very
Sounds
beautifully said.
sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
The doorbell is ringing in the
Doorbell.
back.
Somebody.
Oh, thank you for adding to my light for the day.
Life is calling you,
Oh,
Terry.
what a pleasure. I hope to see you at Ola's Harp Shop soon.
Oh, you certainly will. And for talking to us about all the things that you're doing, which it sounds like nobody could keep together, but because they're so integrated, it's natural for you. And
Yes,
you probably
yes.
even get a good night's sleep without saying
I think I do. Sometimes I doze off on my sofa, as my children would say.
We all do. Well, listen, thank you so very much.
Terry.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry. Pleasure meeting you.
Terry, that's why I asked her to join us. She's such a great interviewer and so insightful on so many
she's
aspects.
wonderful. Thank you for having her.
Oh, yes. And thank you for
I
joining
felt like
us,
I
too.
needed to have some questions. I was like, okay, wait a minute. Am I supposed to
No,
have some questions
you're
for
supposed
Terry
to
too?
ask no.
No, there's a lady at the door with some nut butter. I'm going to excuse myself.
All right.
Goodbye, all.
Okay.
Thanks, Terry. Oh, that's too funny. Well, thank you for joining us. Ola Takombo Obasi at Ola's Herb Shop in Squirrel Hill.
Yes.
Right above the Mediterranean Grill. What's the name of that place? The Mediterranean
Mediterranean Grill,
Grill.
or 10,000 Villages.
Right. And Bodyography is the studio right above you there.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
You do personal consultations and have all kinds of wonderful medicines available in your store. And
Yes.
what's the hours that you're there?
I'm here on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And I'm here from 10:30 till 6:30.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks again so much for being with us. And
Thank you for inviting me,
oh,
Sven.
you
I
bet.
appreciate it.
You bet. And
I hope to see you around soon. Maybe if you need some more immune tonic, you know what I mean.
I think
It's here for you.
I think I'll be over more than once or twice a year.
Yes.
I always enjoy coming
But
in.
not too long. If you continue taking it, then you won't even be here, right?
Right. Well, I got it. I used it all up. I got through the winter with your tonic, so I need to come over.
Thank you.
You must
I'm
have a
glad
summer
you did.
tonic.
I'm glad it was there for you.
Yeah. Thank you again.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Thank you.
And that was such a great conversation. But next up on our podcast for this week, I want to take us back in time 11 days. We'll go into the Wayback Machine. 11 days ago, we had a wonderful conference, the Lifestyle Medicine Conference in Blairsville. Almost 24 integrative medicine professionals were there. A great meeting of the minds. And the videos are going up on the St. Clair YouTube channel this week and next week. And right now, what I'd like to do is show you one of the very first speaker of the morning was our own Tempa Lama from the Bonn Center in Greenfield. And let's take a look at that right now.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? Good. I want to thank so much St. Clair and also Dr. Chaudhary for giving me this opportunity to be here with you all. And also, I like what the Dr. Chaudhary said, that we're going to enjoy. And how many of you are here to have fun and enjoy actually? Raise your hand. Just few. Now it is very important. Okay, it's very, very important. And we have to do our best to have a good day. And it is also our responsibility and the practice to produce the best day as possible. And that's what we have to do. Maybe somebody else, the weather, the car, the house, the road might not produce a good day, may not produce a good day. But however, we as a compassionate being, we as our own friends, we as our own guardians, and that we have to do our best to give ourselves a gift of a good day. And about the today's topic, this morning topic, mindfulness and the healing. The Buddha said, well, there are so many worlds, infinite world, but when you come down, then there is a two world within you and world outside of you. And we, as a compassionate being, and we do our best to heal the both world. But now, if you truly want to be a compassionate being and want to heal the world, but then you begin. Where do we begin? What would we do? What would be our first step? And then he said, well, if you truly want to see the world outside to be healed, if you really wanted to work toward the healing of the outside world, But then you have to first do your best to heal the world within. And then he said, well, if you want to heal the world within, that is talking about you. And this world within is comprised of body, feeling, and the mind. If we go a little deeper, then it says there is a perception and the consciousness. Form, feeling, perception, mental formation, and the consciousness. These are the 5 area, what we call is 5 aggregate. We have to work toward the healing of this 5 aggregate. Oh, there's a 5, then I have to work at a different realm. But then say, no, you know what? If you really wanted to heal the inner world, now what he said is, if you want to heal the inner world and the world outside, and all you have to do is one thing, and that is to take care of your mind. If you take care, then he said, if you take care of your mind, you will simultaneously, spontaneously heal the ball within and the ball outside. And then what does that mean by the healing? I really want you to contemplate, what is healing to you? Healing to me is in the natural state. Natural state. Mind, body, and the feeling all are in natural state. It's the very primordial pure form. That means mind with clarity, purity, and without conflict. The conflict means mind and body and feeling are not just going in different directions, but rather they are all supporting each other to be in natural state. So I will talk more about this later, and then I just wanted to do a simple mindfulness practice, if that's okay. So all of you, I just wanted to see where is your crown. Like everybody try to touch a pet a little bit here. Everybody close your eye, pet here. All right. Now when you feel the sensation, that's fine. Now put your hand down. Now I want you to really pay attention to the sensation that you feel there. And when you're ready, then all of you close your eye and say after me, ah. We're going to say right long ah. Now I want you to empower yourself to witness the state of your body. What do you feel in your body? From your toe to tip of your toe all the way to the crown of your head. I truly want you to witness, empower yourself, to allow yourself to attend to your own body. Whatever sensation you're feeling, whatever state of body you are in, you enter into great non-action. You neither reject, you neither accept. Just bear witness the state of your physical being. Then when you're ready, I want you to lower your attention to your heart center. If you don't know where it is, you can gently pat again where your heart is, at the chest area. Then when you are ready, I want you to pay attention to your heart center. And now say Om. I want you to witness the state of your feeling. I truly want you to empower yourself to be as intimate as close and open to your feeling. How do you feel? Joy, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. This is the practice of bearing witness, witnessing the state of your being. How do you feel? And notice it. Bear witness it. If there's unpleasant feeling, you don't have to do anything. Please enter into the great non-actions. If it is joyful, don't attach to it. Just be in the state of open present. Then when you are ready, now gently bring your attention to the navel energy center, what we call is where the belly button is. If you can gently pat it, if possible. Now when you are ready, you say the hum. Now when you are ready, I want you to empower yourself to witness, to bear witness the state of your mind. What is in your mind? What kind of mental formation are coming, arising, abiding, and dissolving, coming and going? I don't want to go after any thought, any mental formation, but provide them a space to be. And this is the practice of mindfulness. To be mindful of our body, to be mindful of our feeling, and to be mindful of our mind. And this could be of great help to anyone who want to help the outside the world, and also who want to help the inside world. Because usually we are so distracted that we don't attend to our feeling, we don't attend to our state of our body, and we don't attend to state of our mind. This is also the practice of preparing yourself to be ready to face each and every situation as they unfold. And then you ask to yourself how often you're ready, mentally, physically, and emotionally, when you're about to take your job, about to do what you choose to do. It is very, very important to know the state of our being before we act into our compassionate action. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So a moment of mindfulness from our own Buddhist Lama here in Pittsburgh, Temple Lama. Very sweet man. If you haven't been over to the Bond Center, it's well worth going over for a meditation. And all of the videos from the conference, as I said, will be up on the Seclair YouTube channel. And you can go there by going to seclair.com and following the YouTube links. We'll also be posting them on all of our various social media and such. You can think of our website, journaloflifestylemedicine.com, as your .com on the internet. So that'll do it for today. I want to thank again our guests, Olatukombo Obasi. Wow, glad I didn't do that when she was on with us. Olatukombo Obasi from Ola's Herb Shop in Squirrel Hill, and Terry Taylor, Emmy Award-winning journalist, who will be with us again next week as we interview Dr. Thomas Levy, who's written several groundbreaking books on health. And so keep track of us here on the website, on the podcast, on Facebook. We'll be posting regular updates as well. And that's every Tuesday at 4 o'clock here on the Journal of Lifestyle Medicine. I'm Sven Hosford. Have a great day, and let's be careful out there.